Hello, everybody, and thank you all for coming here. Tuning in tonight. Tonight, we're going to be talking about something very interesting. Now, I always say that about every midnight metanoia, and I do want to say this too. I don't call, even though it says Midnight Metanoia podcast, I like to call it. It's a podcast mixed with commentary, mixed with a whole bunch of stuff. And y'all have to excuse it too, because sinuses and allergies, even though it's cold right now, it's still kicking my motherfucking ass. Okay. And so bear with me a little bit. I might be sneezing shit when I get up out here. But anyway, listen. So, okay. We are talking about Alexis ware tonight, and of course, you want to know where's Lexi. You know, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of stuff. I'm actually gonna, you know what? Let me see if I can do this really, really quickly. Give me one moment before we actually jump into this, okay? Okay. Okay. Well, I guess this is what we're going to actually use. I guess we're going to actually use this as a little backdrop. And then I also want to share something else. Let's see, I should have kind of got over here. I hope this audio is perfect because let's talk about some tweets. I have this headphones in my ear. I didn't think that sinuses would bother me into the winter, but a lot of people are alleging sinus issues in my area. You know what? I'm gonna have to come back because I don't have my thing here. Well, now it's Halloween, and I don't expect anyone to stop in here to visit. But I do want to actually we went out to eat, and while we were in that damn restaurant, they were doing construction, and all of a sudden the dust and shit started making me sneeze and shit, and even the person I was with was like, yeah, it's something that's irritating me. It was something with that dust with them moving shit. So I was like, honey, I want to get my food and get the hell out of here. Well, anyway, we're going to jump right in, and I got to remind myself of Mark at the end that we're doing a mixed tea about this, and I want to keep this really honestly under 40 minutes because, of course, this is like commentary, also insight. On some tea. And so we're going to jump in. Let me see. It won't be that long now. There's a lot. And What do you do? Well, let's jump right in. And yeah, let's jump right in. Welcome to the Fine Luxor Mindset Experience. This event is. One thing. Hold on. I need to delete some of these videos for real. There's so many videos in my play right now. Here we go. So, as you know, tonight is Midnight Metanoia, and we're going to talk about Alexis Ware. Now, this is going to be a cross conversation about a lot of stuff. Like I said, I do not call myself a podcast. I'm more of a commentary podcast because, of course, I'm going to give spiritual insight to what I'm sensing with all this. And I always say that not everything that happens has a spiritual definition. Because of course a lot of things that happen is just a part of life, right? Of course there's spirit behind all things that happen in life. A lot of things that happen are just facts of life. Going into a lot of missing people, I believe California is one of the highest number of missing people cases. And I do want to say this, that all things spoken about on this podcast is alleged to have proven otherwise. And I like to say that because a lot of these other spiritual interpreters will say all things are for entertainment purposes. No, all things are alleged to have proven otherwise. I'm a energy interpreter, aka psychic, if you want to call it that, a reader. I don't just read tarot cards, playing cards. I read energy, and whatever comes up for me comes up for me. Of course, a lot of people get into clairvoyant, clairaudient, clair this, clair that. Different processes happen for me during different types of readings. And of course, I utilize all things that come up because, of course, before I get into the workings, I have spirit to come through and to give me insight on what is going on. Now, when I say spirit, for those of you who've never heard of this, I'm not saying that the deceased person or person at hand comes forward. I'm thinking about energy, the source that knows all things are coming forward. So sometimes they could be ancestors, depending on the type of reading. Sometimes they could be, the angel or the demon that operates with this person. Sometimes it's an energy, some type of residual energy that's left, and I could tap into that and I can, interpret it. Now, a lot of times, that's why I want to start doing my podcast pre-recorded and posted. I would do readings on people, and it will be pertaining to other people that are also getting a reading. We did a little card pull a couple of weeks ago. We got in and people were confirming that they knew someone by that name as well. Same description, also the good stuff, but it was actually not for them, it was for someone else. And so I was like, well, this is spirit coming in, because what will be the odds that they both know the same type of person with the same type of body type, blah, blah, blah. To be the same process. Like that'll be like too, extreme or extraordinary. And of course, spirit is nothing but extraordinary. But either way, going into the Alexis Ware, so I'm trying to keep this really, really short because of course, I feel like there's a lot with a lot. And I'm even going to pull something up in a minute. So, of course, let's get... Hold on, let me see something. Okay. So Alexis Ware, which is the person that's in the image here, was a hairstylist, and of course she was known, South Carolina, Anderson County to be exact. And I feel like there's some type of connection between there and Atlanta. Now, I've seen so many stuff over the past years about her being a hairstylist, blah, blah, blah. But I see that there's some type of connection with her in Atlanta. And of course, in the preview, we kind of touched that. And so we may even do a part 2 tonight. Okay. Doing it from this and then going into that. So like I said, keep this very, very short and then jump into some teas and show evidence and all that good stuff. So Alexis ware was last seen January the 30th of 2022, which is so odd because around this time, I feel like there is a lot of changes going on, right? The beginning of the year, people are making these plans to change a new life, new start, new me, new you, whatever. And so either way, January is January 30th, 2022 is where she was last seen at a 7-Eleven on Highway 29 North or 29 North. Her family told WYFF News the 4th that Ware had met with one of her children's fathers to drop off the child. Authorities said that her car was found February the 2nd in McCormick County, South Carolina. Ware disappeared after leaving a gas station on Highway 29. Okay, and it kind of repeats the same thing over and over. Of course, there's so many stories about, what happened. She trolled after she was supposed to be going to her mother's house and was going to be following after her baby's father. As they're on their way there, she then basically veered off and he did not see her, right? And of course, I think a lot of people are blamed, like cousins, family members, ex-lovers, current boyfriends. They were all questioned about what happened to her. And I believe that they did some investigation. And one of the main people that they were claiming was guilty of this, basically he was found innocent, right? And he's like, I knew, blah, 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 whatever. So y'all, this ties in with a lot of stuff, right? My personal opinion with this is that Alexis is still alive, okay? And this is why people that are put into question are kind of seeming suspicious, because I do feel like there are people aware of where she's actually at, but I do believe that she is still alive. Like I said, this does tie in with a lot of stuff. And we will do a part 2 because I want to share things as proof that, how things could be, right? And so I feel like 2015 to 2022, there was a lot of people, and I would say going into 2023, because I saw the shift in about 2022 for sure. But 2023 is when you're really like paying attention and dissecting things, right? 2023, about April. There has been a lot of shifts in the spiritual community. Like, I've been on YouTube since 2008, but I've been in the spiritual aspect of YouTube since 2011, right? September 2011. And I've seen a lot of things that really did not make sense to me. And even as far as tapping in, right? People coming, reaching out to me, trying to connect with some stuff, trying to connect some stuff with, reaching out, seeing what's up with me. And I'm just kind of observing, like, why me of all people? And so either way, I think that the industry, what I mean by the industry, I think the entertainment industry is, I'm not going to say embezzlement. It's more of a laundering type of industry, right? So it is an illusion, and these are all my opinions, spiritually speaking. The illusion of, we're going to sell you an artist, we're going to sell you a talent, we're going to sell you this, we're going to sell you that, but behind the scenes, we're going to be doing other things, right? And so this is why they have to distract us with like the cartels, and they have to distract us with all this other stuff, because I feel like there is a lot of secret stuff behind the scenes, and we see this come out day to day when artists or management is accused of, sexual abuse, etc., etc. And so I feel like the spiritual community is a sub-community to that. Because going into me being a spiritual advisor, me not really wanting to entertain any of these spiritual people, and we talked about this before, thus far, I've met only very few people that I would be willing to meet with that are also claiming to be spiritual advisors, because I do feel like they're connected to some very shady stuff. I'm very convinced of that, right? And I myself not witnessed anything to where I get invited to a group thing and I'm seeing some weird shit go on. But energetically speaking, there's just a lot of foo-foo doo-doo shit that be going on. And I pay attention, like even going into, like I said, from 2015 to, no, we'll say 2015, 2016, going into 2022, 2017 for sure. All these people that are either incarcerated or they got released, they have some type of record with money, embezzlement, drugs. They've been accused of real serious crimes like trafficking, but it's something with money and drugs, right? Or money and sexual something. It's always with these spiritual people, right? And the new ones that pop up. And of course, I'm not saying that they all are a part of this, but I do think a majority of them are. And this is how they get into connections, right? And so going into this, and I'm gonna do part 2 to show my evidence on some stuff. Around the time that Alexis Ware went missing, she was alleging that she was being stalked and harassed by an ex. She told on the web camera, you can look it up, there's a Ring camera. She talked about how she do root work and all this other good stuff, and she had to do some burying work in an apartment complex. And so this was telling me right off the gate that this woman was being advised by someone, right? And it was also, this person was being advised by a woman who's connected to a man. And I feel like this male energy is the leader of all this, and these little women are recruiters, right? Because if you do your research, I'm pretty sure Alexis is not the only one that's went missing that have alleged that she's into magic or she did root work and all sorts of good stuff. And so either way, during this time that she went missing, there was a lot of new people that popped up on the YouTube, on the TikTok, on the IG. And these people were coming out already with a huge following. And you have to kind of like sit back and watch them, right? Because it's about quality over quantity, right? At least for me. And I think people with morals, right? And that work that operates ethically, right? It's about quality, not quantity. So it is humanly impossible for me to do 100 readings a day when you only have 24 hours. It is humanly impossible to have 20,000 followers and all 20,000 people are constantly reaching out to you, getting work done, getting this, getting that, getting that. So that gets into like the logistics of how a lot of stuff works behind the scenes. They be like, they got 50,000 followers, 100,000 followers, and all that good stuff. That just kind of gets into the logistics of, once again, how this stuff operates. If they're offering a spiritual service, realistically, maybe like 7 or 8, right? And we were talking about this, which is known as a spiritual burnout, because you get your gifts and your abilities, whether you are satanic, Luciferian, Christian, Mormon, Catholic, whatever you're claiming to be as an interpreter, prophet, whatever. After so many readings, you're now starting to tap into your own tea. Because like I said, there's a such thing as spiritual burnout, right? You're tapping into energy and now you're starting to hit a wall. And it kind of even goes into like writer blocks and stuff too, right? Like people who are gifted with writing, they're also a form of mediums. So they're actually writing things out and they eventually become blocked because there's just so much energy and stuff flowing through them that they burn out. And sometimes this shows up in drug abuse, mental breakdown, so forth, so forth, so forth. And so you look at these people, and like I said, we're not talking about all these spiritualists on YouTube, TikTok, and all this stuff, but it's very interesting to see somebody, regardless if you're posting all day, every day, to go from having 0 followers to 50,000 followers in a matter of like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, right? It's impossible for these people to, there's just a lot of things that just, it doesn't make sense, right? And I do want to note this out here that at my 600 subscribers, I'm okay with that, right? Because like I said, it would be humanly impossible for me to have 5,000 plus subscribers, been there, done that, and to literally have 30, 40 people hit me up for work every single day. The emotional drainage behind that, the psychological disturbance behind that, especially someone who can read energy, who feels energy, is very traumatizing. To sit on the phone with multiple people in any given day, to hear their sad stories about what it is that they've been through, what they're going through, and to once again have a heart, listen to that stuff, and then tap in and say, okay, I'm going to jump into this, I'm going to jump into that. Because a lot of stuff that's been shared could, I mean, it could end in a lot of ways, which I'm not going to go into that. And so I have never advised any of my clients, because we're talking about Alexis ware here in similar cases. I've never advised any of my clients to pack their bags up and move far, 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 far away. And if you really want to know who and what these people are, like I said, because this male is a male leader, but it's a lot of female energy underneath this, right? Look at the people who were in America but left out the country, right? These are just kind of some things you guys want to pay attention to. Okay, look at these people who packed their bags up, went to another part of the world, and then they get on here, right? Not broadcasting over there, not in India, broadcast to the Indian audience, not on, not in Switzerland, advertising to the Switzerland audience. They're in America, advertising to they're on American platform, advertising to American people. Like, y'all better pack your bags up. This country about to get crazy. Blah, 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 blah. Like I said, these are kind of red flags to me, right? And even going into how they're all connected somehow, some way. There's people that you will come across, and they'll be giving shout outs to people, and you're just like, how could they know that person though? How would they know that person? What would be the odds of that? Like, that customers will go in between, and they would tell, other people, hey, do you know who this spiritualist is? Do you know who that spiritualist is? Have you seen this person? Have you seen that person? Like, I know that that's definitely realistic. I know that could happen. But like I said, what would be the odds of people being connected like that, right? And you don't hear about any like YouTube spiritual gathering where all the spiritualists come together and do things together. Some of them even have groups on Facebook, but they've never met in person. And so I think that a lot of this is connected to human trafficking, sex trafficking. And I feel like with this Alexis, I don't feel like she's connected to that. Like, I don't feel like she was sex trafficked or any of that. I do feel like this is a willing situation. I do feel like she was advised to, pack her bags and leave. It was all voluntarily, but she was still advised to do so. And she did it. But I do feel like the people that are connected to advising her to do this is connected to child abuse, human trafficking, sexual crimes, and only some people are willing to come forward and talk about it. And I do feel that, okay? That opens up a lot of can of worms, right? Because we have a lot of people who got in trouble recently, right? And I can mention two of them off the back that are just so happen black males who cater to melanated or carbonated, if that's what they want to call it, people. And so even behind the scenes where these people are being locked up, they still are in full control over their followers. They still have interactions with their followers. They still are ruling behind the jail cell. Okay. And I do believe that, once again, that she was advised by somebody who's connected to this group, with these group of people. And there's something with Atlanta and the outskirts of Atlanta that keeps coming up when I think about Alexis, or something keeps coming up. It's an area outside of Atlanta, a little small town, but it's something like a passageway to Atlanta. That's what comes up. But definitely, this is where she is. Okay? Going into things being found and stuff, like I said, we'll say that for part 2. It's a trail being left to confuse people. I either went onto a page where I think the group was dedicated to finding her. It was a lot of confusion. Allegedly, remains were found in an undeveloped area. And I know that people automatically jump to that when remains are found, that, oh, this the missing person, missing woman, missing whatever. I know people automatically jump to that. But with Alexis, I can bet that no. Okay. And so all this stuff that is coming out, once again, is a distraction. Sometimes it is a hired type of distraction, where I mean that when people who are involved with the disappearance will have people to come forward and to act like things have went down. They will have a script out. They'll play a movie. They'll play a role. Even people come forward and act like they were so close to this person. Oh, I talked to her or him in the last days, blah, 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 blah. It's really a script. And so all these comments that I was seeing about this, I was like, So you're probably connected to these other leaders, cult leaders and stuff, very similar to the connection she had in her whole disappearance. Like I said, I do feel like Alexis is alive. I do feel like she is. There's something with around Atlanta. Um, there's something with Atlanta or the surrounding area of Atlanta. And if I'd say in the map, I'm seeing Atlanta, and I'm seeing northeast area of Atlanta, northern eastern parts of Atlanta. Not in Atlanta, but the outside. So I'm not even going to say suburbs. So like the outside area, the country aspect of Atlanta, right? And of course, Atlanta is in Georgia. Okay, I have to point that out. So I feel like that's where she's at. All the people that have been coming forward has been cleared. They are gonna clear because, like I said, they're not involved in any type of missing case or whatever. Anything, are not done. But there are two people, and I do want to point this out. Okay, there is for sure, and I do want to say this too. The male energy is a water sign male. If he's not a water sign male, like zodiacally, he's a Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio as his solar. He has this heavy on his chart. The energies are also surrounded by him. It's something about fire. He loves fire energy, fire sign women, fire, something with that. Okay. And the person who is connected to her that knows about her whereabouts, I see two energies here. Something is connected with the ending of July, the beginning of August. Someone, the woman. Yeah, this is a woman energy. And then there's a male also here. And it's something with March, the end of March. Something happened during the end of March, or this male energy is connected to March. Yeah, see? So there we go. And the woman is an air sign. Yeah, the woman, there's something with an air sign. She's good at talking. But see, July is coming to her. Something at the end of July, and I feel like she's connected because there's another woman involved, but I don't feel like she's directly involved because she is the air sign energy. And there's something like I said with March, male energy here with March, air sign woman, and then a woman at the end of July going into the beginning of August. Okay. And of course, this could all be used as a reference. The water sign male is the main reason behind this. He's the main source behind this. Um, and see now it's coming up here. So the person who's connected to her, who knows her whereabouts, is the end of July going into August, right? The end of July going into August. The woman who is the spiritual connector is an air sign. And if she's not an air sign, Aquarius, Gemini, or Libra. And I strongly feel like she is an air sign. I don't think that there's, she got this on her chart. I feel like this is heavily with her. And yeah, oh my God. Everything is just, wow, it's coming up right now. So there is actually like a backwards L. That is actually crazy. So I'm seeing South Carolina, I'm seeing Georgia, I'm seeing Florida, the very tip of Florida. I'm seeing something going all the way to the edge of Alabama, the lower part of Alabama, and it stops there. So it'd be interesting to know how many people have been missing along the edge of Alabama, all the way over, all the way up to South Carolina, that have some type of spiritual connection, right? It'd be very, very interesting to see because I feel like it is all, all, all connected. One to this male energy Oh my God. I wonder when did the mic go out. It said that mic. Okay. So there's a lot going on. Like I said, South, I don't know what y'all heard because it said the mic disconnected. So we're going to get into it. This is all energetic. Older woman, three older women coming forward. She's connected to the fire sign or the water sign male who likes fire sign energy. Air sign woman spiritualist who knows her word, who actually advised her. Three energies coming here. She's something with schizo, not bipolar personality, but she definitely has some type of mood changing thing. Um, and I'm getting postpartum, but not fully recovered from postpartum, if that makes sense. So some postpartum stuff that was not fully dealt with. I don't know how old her youngest child is, and I did not do enough research on that. But I do feel like she had advice from a older woman. Mother comes up, but I'm getting three energies that come forward as mother energy, one being a biological mother, and then I'm getting two other females that are the energies coming forward as like an auntie, an older cousin that comes through as a mother, right? And these are people that, kind of advised her, were sympathetic to her, kind of gave her support when she was going through emotional stuff. I do feel like, once again, that there was a lot going on with Alexis. She's still living. I do feel like she's still alive, like Atlanta, outside Atlanta. I just want to keep reiterating that. And yeah, this is connected to a lot of stuff, y'all. Give me a couple. We're gonna come back for part two, and tackle some teas. Okay. Anyway, bye for now. And if you're coming live, see you in a few. Okay, y'all. This ends it for part one of Where's Alexis.